What's going on, guys? UFC Fight Night Sandhagen versus Figgy. We're going to be going over every single fight on the card, giving you my predictions and breakdowns for each one. Um, some of them won't really be getting a breakdown, but you're getting a prediction for every single fight, that's for sure. Bit of a shorter video because I'm kind of busy. I've been kind of busy for the last few days, but hey, at least it's better than no videos. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Let's get into the first fight. Juliana Miller versus Ivana Petrovic. I'm going with Ivana Petrovic by a 29-28 decision because she is the better fighter. Yeah, let's move on to the next fight. Don'Tale Mayes versus Thomas Peterson. Both of these fighters are still in the UFC, but Jairzinho Rosenstrike has been cut from the promotion. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going Thomas Peterson. Don'Tale Mayes is terrible off of his back. He gets taken down, and when he gets taken down, he just kind of sits there. He doesn't really work his way back up. Kind of just accepts bottom position. And Thomas Peterson's a pretty good wrestler. He took down Shamil Gaziev, had him down for a bit. Obviously Shamil knocked him out, but Don'Tale Mayes isn't gonna just knock him out like that. Don'Tale Mayes doesn't have Shamil Gaziev boxing. All right. I think Thomas Peterson gets the takedowns here. Maybe works in some trips, some clinching against the fence. Probably gonna be a snooze fest, but Thomas Peterson probably gets it done. Yeah. Let's move on to the next fight. Gaston Bolaños versus Quan Lee. I'm gonna go with Gaston Bolaños to win this fight. I just think he's the better fighter. That's gonna be my logic for a lot of these kind of mid fights. This one's not that mid. We got Timu Ilia Topuria versus Timu Song Yadong. But yeah, Quan Lee lost his last fight to Chris Gutierrez. We just saw Chris Gutierrez beat John Castaneda, and I think Chris Gutierrez is pretty underrated. So a loss to Chris Gutierrez is not that bad in my opinion, but I think Gaston Bolaños gets it done here. He's decently dangerous on the feet. Um, I don't know. Gaston Bolaños is. I just think he's good enough and has the right tools to beat a Quan Lee. So yeah, I'm going Gaston Bolaños. Let's move on to the next fight. Marina Rodriguez versus Jillian Robertson. I'm picking Jillian Robertson to win this fight. I was going to go Marina Rodriguez because I do think she's a good underdog in this matchup. She's very skilled, and she's one of these female fighters that just goes in there and scraps and puts it all out there. So, yeah, Marina Rodriguez is definitely a good pick, but I think Jillian Robertson is going to get the takedowns, scrap it out, and just be the scrappier fighter of the two, and get a close win over Marina Rodriguez. Probably going to be a split. I picked UD. I don't know though. This is a hard pick because I don't like picking Canadians to win fights. Even though I'm Canadian myself, um, I just don't like picking Canadians. Neil Magny, ground and pound TKO out our best prospect. So, yeah, I'm just not a big fan of Canadians. So, I am gonna go Jillian Robertson though to win this fight. I do believe she is the better fighter, but very slightly, and I think she can get takedowns here and maybe mix in some ground and pound. But yeah, definitely a close fight. Let's move on to the next one. Azamat Bakoev versus Ryan Loder. I'm going Ryan Loder. Listen, I picked Azamat Bakoev to lose his last fight. I picked Zach Reese against him. Zach Reese turned out to be shit and have no chin. But Ryan Loder, I just don't rate Azamat Bakoev that highly. I watched his regional fights. I watched his LFA fights. He was getting worked by Chauncey Foxworth, who's 19-10, before he found the KO shot. Like, Foxworth was low-key winning that fight, from what I remember. I didn't rewatch it, but I remember watching it for the Zach Reese fight. And Chauncey Foxworth was kind of winning. But yeah, I think Ryan Loder's a lot better than Zach Reese. He's a good wrestler. He dominated Robert Valentin. We just saw Torres Finney. Yeah, he was taking Valentin down, but he wasn't doing any damage. Ryan Loder ground and pound TKO'd him. So yeah, I think Ryan Loder can win this fight. I think on the feet, Bakoev's a more dangerous striker, but skill-wise, they're probably about the same, maybe. I don't know. And on the ground, I actually think Ryan Loder's a better wrestler. So yeah, give me Ryan Loder to win this fight. But if Bakoev wins, then I guess I'll stop betting against him. Let's move on to the next fight. Yana Santos versus Misha Tate. I didn't know Misha Tate was still in the UFC. I thought she retired, but yeah, I'm picking Yana Santos by decision. Let's move on to the next fight. Jeremy Stevens versus Mason Jones. The real hardest Stadium 145er is back. Jeremy Stevens, first round KO by whatever he wants. No. This is my first lock of the card. I'm picking Mason Jones. Mason Jones is going to beat the fuck out of Jeremy Stevens. He's going to take him down. Probably ground and pound TKO him in the first round. Stevens is coming back. He's not UFC caliber. Mason Jones is really good and he's underrated. And yeah, this is my first lock of the card. I'm taking Mason Jones. Mason Jones by whatever he wants. I'm not even going to lie. But yeah, I don't know. There's not really much to say. I would love to see Jeremy Stevens come back and cold this guy in the first round. I don't have anything against Mason Jones, but it'd be a cool highlight for Jeremy Stevens to come back and get a win in the UFC before Conor McGregor. So yeah, but ultimately Mason Jones is going to win the fight. Far superior on the ground. And on the stand-up, Stevens only has a puncher's chance. And even then, I still trust Mason Jones to win there. Yeah, give me Mason Jones to win this fight. First round ground and pound TKO. Let's move on to the next fight. Cameron Smotherman versus Surrey City. I'm going Cameron Smotherman by first round TKO. I think Surrey City is a little bit chinny. Smotherman has good power, and I don't know. I think he's gonna catch him in this fight, but who knows? I don't really rate either of these guys too highly. I don't think either of them are prospects that we should be really looking out for. Cameron Smotherman lost to Cortavius Romeus, got dominated, and Surrey City lost to Ramon Tavares. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really rate either of these guys too highly. But Smotherman has a win over Jake Hadley, which is very impressive. Hadley's very good, which is weird. How do you beat Jake Hadley and then lose to Cortavius Romeus? I don't know. MMA math makes no sense sometimes, but yeah, Smotherman should win this fight. City's a little bit chinny. Smotherman has good power. I don't really rate either of these guys too highly. Smotherman's got the experience advantage. City, I don't know. Losing to Ramon Tavares is arguably worse than losing to Cortavius Romeus. I'm not even gonna lie. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's a casual take, but I don't know. Plus, if you look at their wins, Jake Hadley is by far better than any of Surrey City's wins. So yeah, Cameron Smotherman first round TKO. Let's move on to the next fight. Montel Jackson versus Daniel Marcos. I'm picking Montel Jackson to win this fight. This is one of my most hyped up fights on the card, and I'm decently confident in Montel Jackson to win this fight. I think he's a better striker. He's got a big range advantage. He's like 5'10 with a 75-inch reach at bantamweight. That's insane. And Marcos, I just feel like, in my opinion, he's the most overrated 135 prospect. Like, I'm not even going to lie. I thought he could have lost that Davy Grant fight. I thought he could have lost to Adrian Yanez. I thought he could have lost to a couple other guys. I don't know. He's having too many really close fights. Like, Adrian Yanez is not having a split decision with Montel Jackson. Montel Jackson is cold in Adrian Yanez in the first 2 rounds. Same thing with Davy Grant. I'd pick Montel Jackson to beat Davy Grant pretty comfortably. Probably not knock him out, but yeah, Montel Jackson has crazy power. Most knockdowns in bantamweight history. Crazy long reach. I think he can keep Marcos at bay, light him up with 1-2s and jabs, and just win in the striking. And on the ground, he's pretty good. He has pretty good wrestling too, so I think he can win there against Marcos as well. Marcos is undefeated, but is he? He's had some really arguable robberies. Davy Grant fight could have went to Davy Grant. Adrian Yanez could have been either way. I don't know. Daniel Marcos is just overrated in my opinion. He's not that good. He's all right. He's not a bad fighter, but I don't know. I just think Montel Jackson is just better. The win over Damon Blackshear is aging very well. Damon Blackshear is very good, and yeah, I'm going Montel Jackson to win this fight. Uh, Keeps him at bay with the range, lights him up with jabs, 1-2s, probably drops him at some point, and maybe gets a finish, maybe doesn't. Mixes in some wrestling, and yeah, I think we're going to see a pretty clear Montel Jackson victory here, and hopefully he doesn't get robbed. Yeah, let's move on to the next fight. Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Daniel Rodriguez. I'm picking Santiago Ponzinibbio by KO in the second round. I think he's going to be losing maybe the fight. I don't know. I don't even know if he's going to be losing. I think he's a better striker than D-Rod, and I think he can keep this on the feet. I don't think D-Rod's taking this fight to the ground. And even if he does, I see Ponzinibbio getting back up. And on the feet, I see Ponzinibbio outstriking D-Rod. I see him landing the better shots, the harder shots. And I think eventually in the second round, he's going to find the TKO, land a big shot on D-Rod, put him down, ground and pound TKO. Ponzinibbio's got crazy power, and even at his old age, I think he's 38, 37, 38, he's still finding KO shots on these guys. Like in his last fight against Carlston Harris, I know Carlston Harris is pushing 72, but I picked Harris to win that fight, and he was winning the decision. He was up 2 rounds. And then Ponzinibbio in the third round just finds the shot, so yeah. Also, Daniel Rodriguez got chinned by Ian Gary. I know it was like a flush head kick, and Ian Gary is really accurate and he's skilled. Ian Gary's very good. If you're getting chinned by Ian Gary, I easily see Santiago Ponzinibbio landing something on you eventually. I think if Ponzinibbio lands really clean on that chin, he's putting D-Rod out cold. Maybe not out cold, but he's putting him down and ground and pounding him. So, yeah, I'm going Santiago Ponzinibbio. Let's move on to the next fight. Rainer de Ritter versus Bo Nickel. This is my most anticipated fight on the card. I'm really excited for this one. Ladies and gentlemen, we are fraud checking Bo Nickel. We are fraud checking this guy. Bo Nickel's not winning this. Rainer de Ritter is going to mix in some weird shit, get this fight to the ground, and he's choking out Bo Nickel. I don't see the hype around Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel's so overrated. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. His pure wrestling is very good, yes. His MMA wrestling has not looked very impressive at all. Couldn't take down Jamie Pickett, had to knee him in the balls to get him down. Struggled with Cody Brundage on the ground. Like, I just don't see... Like, his MMA wrestling is just not that good. He doesn't blend striking and wrestling well. It's either one or the other. He's not that good at mixing it up. And on the feet, he just looks so uncomfortable. Like, he's almost forced to take it to the ground. On the feet, he's, like, dipping in and out, feinting every 2 seconds. Basic combos. Like, he just looks so uncomfortable on the feet. that he just tries to take it to the ground. And yes, he's very physically strong and a good wrestler, so he can force takedowns. He's not going to be able to force takedowns on Rainer DeRitter. That's just not happening, okay? He's just not going to be able to do that. And, like, I don't know, Rainer DeRitter, he's big, he's strong. He's weird enough on the feet where I do think Bo Nickel is the faster guy on the feet, but Rainer DeRitter can land some weird counters, some weird shit, implement some trips, get him in the clinch. I think Bo Nickel at some point is going to try and shoot a takedown in this fight. And if he does, I think RDR is going to be able to reverse position. And I think he's going to find the submission on Bo Nickel. Rainer DeRitter, in my opinion, is like a top 8 middleweight in the world right now. Bo Nickel is like, I don't even know if Bo Nickel's rank potential, I'm not even going to lie. Like, Bo Nickel is not ragdolling Kevin Holland and submitting him in the first round. Maybe he is, actually. Kevin Holland at middleweight is prone to just getting submitted. If me and Kevin Holland had a middleweight bout, I would submit Kevin Holland, even though I'm like a bantamweight. But, yeah. I think Rainer DeRitter is going to submit Bo Nickel, mix in some weird shit on the feet, maybe get some takedowns. I don't know. I think this fight's kind of going to be more on the feet, but I do think it's eventually going to hit the ground. And once it hits the ground, I think Rainer DeRitter is going to fluke a sub. Not fluke. It's going to be written in the history books. But yeah, I think Rainer DeRitter is going to find a submission here. Let's move on to the main event. Corey the Sandman Sandhagen versus Davison Figueiredo. I'm picking Corey Sandhagen by 49-46 unanimous decision. And I'm picking him as a lock. I never do this. This is the first time I've ever done this on the channel. I'm locking the main event. I'm making Corey Sandhagen a lock. How is Figgy going to win this fight? Like, I don't understand. Sandhagen has an insane height and reach advantage. 5'11". I think he has like a 70, 71-inch reach. Figgy's 5'5". Don't even know what kind of reach he has. I forget, but 5'11 to 5'5". Sandhagen's faster. He's way bouncier, way better footwork. He's going to be able to dip in and out. He's got better volume and better cardio. Figgy gets out-volumed in like every single fight that he has. Sandhagen's going to be able to throw volume out there. Figgy, yes, he's a good grappler, but his wrestling is not that good. He's not that good at taking people down consistently, getting them to the ground, and just constantly working towards submissions and ground and pound. He's not going to be able to just blast double leg Sandhagen and take him down like Umar was. And even Umar was struggling in the wrestling with this guy. Umar, people forget, Sandhagen did so good in the defensive like wrestling in that fight. Like, Sandhagen's defensive grappling looked great in the Umar fight. Umar outstruck him, and Umar's 10 times the striker Figgy is. He doesn't have the same power as Figgy, but he's way faster, way flickier. He's just a better striker than Figgy. Figgy does not have the explosive, dynamic, fast striking to mix in the takedowns against Corey Sandhagen. He's going to be plodding forward, getting pieced up with volume, shooting takedowns, getting most of them stuffed, getting reversed. Sandhagen's going to be jumping friggin' submissions off his back if he does get taken down. I just see Sandhagen winning this fight. He's not going to chin Sandhagen. Sandhagen has a granite chin, and Figgy, he's going to have to like jump to reach his head. That's a joke. But yeah, the only way I see Figgy winning this fight is by submission. I don't see him winning by KO, and I don't see him winning by points. So the only way Figgy wins this is by submission. And like I said, who has submitted Corey Sandhagen? I haven't said this yet, but I'll say it now. Who has submitted Corey Sandhagen? He's been submitted once in the UFC by Aljamain Sterling before he really locked in on the wrestling. Like, you're not going to submit this guy. I don't care if Figgy submitted fucking Cody Garbrandt at UFC 300. Are we not just going to forget, like, Peter Yan just 50-45 this guy, like, a couple months ago at UFC Macau? Like, I know Peter Yan's really good. He's better than Sandhagen, yes. But he just 50-45 Figgy and shut down his whole game. Like, Sandhagen is just, he's going to win. Like, he just is. Sandhagen's a lock, faster on the feet, better striker, way taller and rangier. He's going to be able to just dance around, use the footwork, piece him up from range. He's not going to be gun shy in this fight because he doesn't have the same takedown threat as a guy like Umar. And I don't know, I just don't see Figgy blast double legging him constantly and getting him down. I don't see him holding Sandhagen against the fence for any like significant period of time. He's not going to outstrike Sandhagen. No way in hell. He's not chinning Sandhagen. And sub is a pretty low chance. He's not winning a decision. He's not going to be able to do enough damage to win a decision. So, yeah, give me Sandhagen to win this fight. Figgy's low output as well. He gets out-volumed in like every single one of his fights. So, yeah, I'm going with Corey Sandhagen in this fight. I just think he's the better fighter. And yeah, Corey Sandhagen is a lock for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you guys in the next one. Sorry it was a bit shorter. I'm pretty busy, so I didn't really have time to work on like a 40-minute video. But yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.